Hello everyone, and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. I'm Commander Exorcist. Welcome aboard the starship Arboria, which you normally see in my Elite Dangerous Out There series, but today it is the star of my Let's Play video. So I didn't do a Let's Play video last week. I took a little bit of a break, and I am back and doing what I absolutely love to do. And so today we're going to do a behind the scenes of Out There, because there are a lot of people out there that don't realize the amount of work that goes into making a 4-minute cinematic in Elite Dangerous. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to fly around and I'm going to show you what it takes to film just a few seconds of Out There. I think this video will probably go maybe an hour, probably a little bit less, but well, depending on. So we got 13 bodies in this system. Let's see if it's got anything that is worthy of photographing. And yeah, so as we get started, everybody, if you enjoy the content I create on this channel, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure that you have notifications turned on so that you don't miss any of my content. I make regular, weekly Elite Dangerous Let's Play videos, tutorial guides, and all kinds of other fun stuff. And we'd love to have you as a subscriber helping the channel grow. We recently passed 6,000 subs. It's pretty good. Not bad for a niche channel that covers games like Elite Dangerous. So like I said, what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of fly around, and I'm going to show you, and I'm going to talk pretty much about some of my secrets, some of the stuff that I've come up with over the years, and show you how some of the scenes in Out There are created. So what you will see in this episode, or in this video, more or less, will be in this Saturday's episode of Out There. So, so if you watch this video, you get to see kind of the locations that we're finding, which I haven't found anything good yet. Oh, it's a nice ringed world, a lot of hydrogen. So you get to see kind of the places that I find, and some of my philosophy, some of my thought processes. I'll talk about why I'm making the shots that I am while we're doing it. So let's see here. So I used to be so much faster at using the FSS, but now that I'm using a throttle, or not a throttle, but a joystick, yeah, it's a little bit more difficult. I've done my, okay, so we got, let's see here. So Geology. So we'll probably come back. That planet doesn't look too interesting, but we may go ahead and see what we can do with it. There's some camera tricks that we can use to make things. So we've got what kind of world is this? Oh, okay. That's kind of neat. I like that. I'm having a moment here. No, that's not what I needed. Where is it? There it is, planetary information. And I'm the guy that made the guide on this stuff. All right, so we're going to head to that planet. So atmospheric worlds are always nice for filming. There's ways that we can take advantage of camera tricks and stuff like that. And that's one of the things I'm going to talk about as we go along. I will share some of the tricks that I've learned to bring out some of these locations, make them a little more interesting versus just kind of face on. So, Super Cruise Overdrive is amazing. It really is. This would have been, I would have cut this. Like if this was old Elite, I would have probably just cut the trip to this 33,000 light second planet far away, but here we go. So, I am working on a photography guide, just so you know. I've had some people ask me, and I'll just go ahead and throw that out there so that I can continue to commit myself to actually finishing it, but I am working on a photography guide. And so what I hope to do is do something like this, but really specifically a photography guide to take some of the tricks and some of the stuff I'm going to show you guys as far as videography, and show you how you can use that to enhance your work in Elite. Because this game, I mean, this game is 10 years old, but it has some gorgeous visuals at times. It has its challenges. It has some really weird anti-aliasing problems, and the shadows are just pure evil. So, I'm not really a probe perfectionist, so please don't judge me too harshly as I put my probes out, because I don't really look for efficiency bonuses anymore. They're not really a big deal for me. Arboria lives on the Nightwish account, so this is the same account that I've used for the Nightwish for all those years, and so this is the same account that has always done out there. Okay, so it looks like bacterium is the only life form on this planet, but my goodness, it's got some nice ridges. Okay. So there's a couple of different ways that I like to do this depending on what the planet looks like. This one has some really nice, I mean, you could call them mountains, but like these ridges here. And so I want to capture kind of the ship approaching the planet. And one of the ways to do that is to just kind of put the ship in the corner and then slowly pan backwards. So a lot of this is strictly, you know, camera movement. It is not the ship moving. So again, it's one of those kind of tricks that you learn over time. It's easier to move the camera than to have the actual asset moving. So it kind of gives the illusion that the ship is traveling, and it is, but from our perspective, just a tiny little pullback. And so the way that I do this, if you're looking for an easy way, I found, so I have a Sol R1. It's a Thrustmaster. I don't use the throttle on it, so I actually control my ship throttle via keyboard because it's a little more reliable. So what I ended up doing is binding the throttle to the camera. So if you bind your throttle to the camera, you can actually pull back on the throttle just a little bit, and it will give you that that kind of pullback. See right there, that kind of effect. So that's just the throttle pulled back, and the camera does its work, and all I have to do is fly and make sure that the ship is properly aligned. Okay, and so I have a habit of doing this for a lot of the planets I approach, if they're interesting. If they're not really interesting and I'm landing and looking for something interesting on the surface, then I won't do an approach. But this one's okay. It's really a nice surface. I wish it had a little more variety in color, but both of the planets that are our targets in this system don't seem to have a lot of that. But there's a really, I mean, the detail is pretty nice. Like I said, it has its moments with anti-aliasing and stuff. Okay, so that one mountain range on the far right is actually kind of nice because it would put the one in the center between us and the horizon, but I don't like the rocky ground, and I need a space to be able to land, because I'd like to be able to land and get out in my SRV and do some running around. But wow, it's kind of nice. Yeah, that is cool. Okay. So here we go. So we're going to go along this mountain range here. There's some nice flat territory along here. This will give us a good opportunity to kind of fly along the mountain range, showcase the planet. It's one of the reasons that, you know, not to knock the Nightwish, but it was old and difficult to control at times. The Mandalay is so much more responsive, and I mean, this is a 0.35G planet, so I would have to be very careful with the Nightwish just to make sure that it didn't start to fall out of the sky. But this thing, I mean, it'll take a licking and it just keeps on going. So we're kind of going to do the same thing here. Want to make sure that I get it properly aligned. So kind of in the corner, and you can see that I'm doing my best here to make sure that the sun is also in the photo. And if you'll take a look, watch this sequence. This is something that I've kind of figured out over the years. The horizon is tilted to the right. And so I'm currently, like, this is me holding my joystick very firmly while trying to do commentary. But as we pan around the ship, you'll notice that the horizon straightens out. And so this gives us kind of that cool effect of flying next to the ship. Now, once I get a little too far, it starts to turn to the right. So it doesn't work for a full pan around the ship, but it is a really cool effect for probably 10 seconds, which is pretty much what the clips in out there are. So that worked pretty well. And then we're simulating more travel. Nice shot of our name there. And I know she's new and not everybody's willing to accept Arboria yet, but I think that over time she's going to earn her wings. And I think she already has in some ways. There's been some pretty interesting discoveries this year. Some very beautiful places. All right, so we are going to touch down. And there are 3 different kind of modes for out there. There's pretty much 3 modes for playing in Elite Dangerous. You've got ship, SRV, and on foot. When I'm filming, I tend to go in that order unless something happens. So if there's a unique location and it doesn't have a good place to put down an SRV, a lot of times I'll just step out of the ship, get a couple of shots on foot, and then move on. But this one looks like it's got some nice little flat areas for us to drive around. You'll notice, I don't know if you noticed, I turned off my lights. And lights can add accent to your SRV, but they also can affect the lighting in Odyssey. The lighting in Odyssey is not the best, so it reacts very strangely to alternative light sources. And I'll see if I can show you what I mean. But let's get up here over the ridge and see what we can find as far as like flat areas. I'm going to show you how we do the SRV shots. So if you're looking to do SRV shots, set your drive assist on, turn to your camera suite, and so now drive assist is on, and I am not in control of the SRV, so we're just kind of pan around here and say a prayer. Hopefully that rock is far enough away. We're going to slide right by it, and here we go. So this is kind of the scene where I'll cut out where he runs over that hard place, but right here, this is probably what will make it into the episode, is this kind of pan. And it's the same concept as what I was shooting in the ship earlier, with making the horizon tilt just a little bit to the right. And if you do it on the opposite side, it's the complete opposite principle. You tilt the horizon to the left, and then as you pan around, it will start to work out. When you're doing this kind of filming, like right now, see how it's shaky? You want to make sure you turn on your stabilizer, and that is a keybind. So whatever your stabilizer is set to, you need to turn it on. So now we are just kind of panning away with the throttle, following the SRV. And I'm doing a continuous film here. If I was doing out there, I would be taking clips. So my clips are about 25 to 30 seconds a piece. That's what I've figured out is kind of the best to work with for editing. So like all this is just one continuous shot that I will edit down and place into out there. So we've been filming for probably about 14-15 minutes at this point, and we might have 45 seconds of footage. And the reason for that is to make sure that it's a little bit more it's kind of spread out. There's a little more diversity in terms of what type of footage I'm sharing, so it's not like the same planet over and over. Okay, so let's turn our lights on. I'm just going to show you what happens when the lights go on. At the moment, the lights are facing away. Now watch the reaction of the ground around us. Notice how dark it gets. It gets a lot darker as we pan into the alternative light source. And I turn it off, and it gets really bright again because the primary light source takes over. So we turn it on, and it just gets a little bit darker. So it looks nice. The lighting on the SRV is really nice. It's just really odd that you have these competing light sources, and it's like they just don't like each other. Whoa, uh-oh. This is what you got to be careful of. I actually have a video of me, and I will probably link it in the description, from the Horizons era where I was filming a sequence like this from behind, and I ran off a giant cliff. I mean, it was really, really something. Those kind of cliffs don't exist anymore. Okay. So getting a couple of nice shots here. Trying to get something like up close, but yeah. The zoom function for the camera is really fast, so it's going to do what it does, but I think we got enough SRV footage. So let's go back to the natural lighting. And now we're going to step out of the SRV once I find a spot, and we will get some on-foot shots. So there's a couple of options here. We can do the shots down here on the ground in the valley, or we can try to go up on the mountains. The difficulty with the mountains is that there's pretty much only one shot you can take up there. So we would fly up there, I'd stick my commander on a peak somewhere, and then do a pan shot backwards or around him to kind of showcase the vista. But in this case, we're just going to step out here, and camera suite is pretty much the same for him. Zoom, and you have different, commander controls. So right now I'm controlling the camera. I have no control over my commander, so I can pan around and zoom in and all that other cool stuff. It doesn't have a lot of effects, but the Elite Dangerous camera suite is one of the best camera suites in any video game ever because of how versatile it is. So, and yes, I don't know if anybody is aware, there is a keybind for walking. So you can actually set a keybind that will prevent your commander from running. So you notice I ran for a second and then he started walking. I'm not having to do anything special. If you're using a controller to control your commander, you can actually push the thumbstick up just a little bit and your commander will walk, or you can set a keybind that will prevent him from running. So here's kind of a classic shot. The commander is on the left or the right, kind of always out of center, unless there's something really amazing in the middle and you kind of want to contrast it. But he's off to the side here, and the sun is, kind of in the middle, a little bit offset, and you can see the Milky Way on the far right. And so this is a really interesting frame. This is how we do it. This is how photographers and creatives try to do these kind of things, is you want to make the whole image interesting. And not everybody's going to be able to see that kind of stuff, but our brains register. So a lot of people will look at a sequence like this, like the commander walking along the ground, and we're like, wow, this is nice. They may not understand why, but our brains are programmed to kind of like subconsciously appreciate these things. So you can see there's almost this sphere of light in front of us with the sun and, the gradient colors and the Milky Way in the distance. And so it's really, it kind of all comes together. But this is a pretty standard shot that I take, showing my commander as he's determined and he's walking around, finding his way on alien worlds. There's really not a lot else. Let's see here. Let's get a shot. So this is a shot I was toying with last year, just kind of down and following him. It really captures the texture. So there's some really nice ground textures in this game. The Odyssey planets have a special kind of beauty to them when they're not flickering and having anti-aliasing issues and the like. So It's just something we've kind of learned to live with over the years, unfortunately. I'd say I probably wish I had zoomed in a little bit more for that shot, but since I'm kind of just fooling around and showing you guys how this works, it's yeah, I think it'll be all right. So we're gonna pan back, and this is a combination. So the throttle is back, and the camera is automatically pulling back, but I am manually turning it. So it's a kind of a combination shot. Works really well. I wish that there was a way that I could keep my commander moving. I would love to have a shot of my commander walking with kind of this panoramic shot around him, but there's just no way to do it. 'Cause you're either in control of the commander or you're in control of the camera. You can't be in control of both unless you are, you know, blessed like the Burr Pit to have two people that are doing the work. Somebody that's actually running the character and somebody who's separate, say in multi-crew, that's running the camera. But if you're doing it solo, nah, the best you can do is straight shot walking or standing panoramics. I'm going to show you a little trick here with this. So this little like kind of mound, if you stand up and you stand slightly on the front of it, you'll notice I'm not perfectly on top, but if you stand kind of on the front of it and it hides your feet, you can go behind, and it makes for great silhouette shots. And the reason that you want to be just a little bit ahead of it, not on the very top, is because there's a distance between the commander's feet and the top of the mound. And this makes it seem more like he's actually connected to the ground and isn't floating, because he will float if you stand up on the very top of the mound. So it's a nice little kind of silhouette shot. This would be a thumbnail, and this is like, you know, kind of a thumbnail thing. So, and again, putting the commander off to the side, so you have the commander on the side and the sun on the other side to make the whole image as interesting as possible. I've been doing this for so long, these are just kind of second nature. I'm trying to find new and interesting shots and angles for out there. I know some of these shots are pretty like standard at this point, but you know what's funny is shows like Star Trek had kind of this like templated shots of the Enterprise. Like it was the same shot of the Enterprise. They just stuck a planet, you know, a planetary texture behind it or some kind. Congratulations, Commander Andon Bellium, for making today's video with your offline and online. So we are going to... I'm going to take a look. I may take another flying shot, and then we're going to leave this world, and we're going to head over to the... Geology world. The one I did, it didn't look very interesting, but that's good because I want to show you what you can do with a planet that's not very interesting. See, this is really nice. I like this. I like this planet. Let's go over here and see what we can find. So if we do this right and we get over the ridges here, what we'll do is we'll go over the mountains, we'll turn back facing the sun, and then we'll be able to get some silhouette shots of Arboria above the mountains here. And the camera has a speed control, so, and I have it set to one of the scroll wheels on my R1, and so you can like speed it up. I've got it as slow as possible. And here's kind of that same perspective. So the horizon turned to the right, and as we pan, it will straighten out. And there are the infamous Odyssey shadow flickers. When it works, it's beautiful, and when it doesn't, it's really jarring. Oh, see? Oh, that's awful. But because I'm really focused on the ship, that will probably make it into this weekend's episode. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what it looks like when everything is put together. So now that we're over the mountains, we're going to do a silhouette shot. And so this is a matter of just kind of putting the ship up in the corner a little bit and letting the rest of the vista compose the shot. There we go. Make it so. I try to keep the ship at an even distance, so if you'll look, it's almost an even distance from the left side of the image and from the top. Give it that kind of a sense of balance. So I probably should have gone to this planet first because it's closer, but Super Cruise Overdrive makes intersystem travel a non-issue. It's really not an issue. So we're going to jump up, hit our Super Cruise overcharge, and make our way to the Geology planet. Dear Frontier, please give us an option for Super Cruise Assist keybinds. Please, for the love of God, give me a keybind for Super Cruise Assist. This whole system area, this Prilu, or however you say it, has been pretty neat. There was a section of space a couple of weeks ago that I was in, not far from here, that was really, really boring. I think I went through probably 12 systems at once before I found a single planet that was worth even remotely visiting. But this section right here has been pretty nice. It's kind of between the bubble and the core. And so my goal, I'm heading to a nebula. There's a nearby nebula. I'm heading out there. I actually haven't been there since like season 2 or 3. It's been a couple of years. So I'm going out there to get some really good nebula video. But along the way, I found this area, and it's had some really nice planets with good atmospheres and some geology. So that last planet wasn't too bad with the shots and everything, kind of the camera tricks. It'll come out really nice. And then we'll see how this one goes as well. It's only 4 probes for this one, so it's not too big. All right. Let's see what we got. Now, a long time ago, or us old heads, this probe system would help you identify the type of geology, because geology was localized into certain pockets. So there would be like spots on the planet's surface with geological activity. These days in Odyssey, all it does is tell you that there's 3 geologic signals, and you pretty much can't differentiate between them. They'll be all over the planet. So wherever there's blue, like, you're not going to go to this mountain range here or this little hill and find only geysers. You will find every type of geology across the entire surface wherever there is like the blue indicator. So yeah, it's a little bit of a pullback there. It's not particularly interesting. It's just a giant rock. But if we go over here to some of these jagged areas, we may be able to find some lava spouts along like a rock wall and get us some good shots. So I'm kind of hesitant to go to that smooth area over there. Let's see. Let me think about it. And it's pretty typical. You're not going to find like active geology at the higher elevations. So see how it kind of stops there. And the color changes just a little bit. So it's kind of a purplish at the top. There's not going to be any geology up there. So let's go down here these little like grooves along here, they're hills, so, or little mountains. So there'll be little jagged peaks sticking out of the ground, and usually you'll find geology along the edge of those things. On the right world, with the right sun in the right position, some of these little peaks can be excellent candidates for photography and videography. I love to climb them with an SRV. Okay. All right, so we do have some active geology down here. There's a lava spout and some fumaroles. Let's check it out. Problem is this mountain right. See, there's some really good geology here, but it's in the darkness, and I don't want to film in the dark. Kind of that lone lava spout. It's not very interesting. Let's see what's around the corner here. Okay, so we've got some more over here. Oh, we've got quite a few. Yeah, see, we gotta see how it's like all the geology is spread out. So this is all of the geology on the planet. So the lava spouts, the fumaroles, and then I don't know if you saw off to the side. We'll walk over there in a minute. But there's these vents that have kind of the thinner gases that are coming out of them. Okay, so no, I'm not going to take my SRV out yet. Let's go for a walk. Thank you for the first footfall. I don't think I've ever tracked how many planets I have first footfall on. So this is kind of neat. So we have us a campfire here. I don't want to get too close. Don't want to get burned. So there's kind of a shot there, I guess, maybe. I may come back and show you guys how to do a pan through the fire, because that's one shot that I've done a few times, is moving through the fire to showcase like something behind it, like Arboria sitting against the Milky Way. That might work out. So you see how you've got one set of geology here that's really the thick smoke. Those are the fumaroles, and then there's that cloud right behind it. That's one of the gas vents. So the game considers those two distinct types of geology. So you have all three types of geology here in this little valley. There's the whole FSS, not FSS, but the probe scanner, the detailed surface scanner. Yeah, it doesn't differentiate. This is all you get. So these vents are really good for contrasting like shadow shots like this. So I'll put my commander up against it, zoom in a little bit, and yeah, there we go. So contrast against the smoke for this like epic, deep space cowboy shot. That actually turned out pretty nice. So like this totally boring valley can be made to look amazing if you get the right angle. So we've cut out all the background, which is just rock, and now we're just kind of standing around enjoying a fine smoke, and then we can just kind of pan around for an absolutely epic smoke shot. Oh, that is so cool. And so there's not a lot to this little world, but with the right angle and just a little bit of patience, you can get some pretty decent shots. I think I was actually about to hit the ground. So, and now the freaking thing is really roaring. see what else I can get here. Well, this might be the thumbnail. Yeah, there we go. A little bit of, so I can actually see our dude. See if I can do another pan. Again, it's just, and I'm taking photos as I do this. So if it like kind of stops, then like right here, I'm taking this shot. Oh yeah, there we go. So kind of the other way. Circle around, capture some of that contrast. I'm not a fan of how he's like leaning back now. Like it looks like he's falling, but you know, I may be able to get 5 or 10 seconds out of that video. Which again, this is what I was talking about. Like I've been filming for about 30 minutes at this point, and we probably have a minute, maybe a minute and a half of actual out there video. If I'm lucky. So we're going to go back up here, and I'm going to show you guys the, we're going to pan through this lava vent. So I want to stay as far away from it as possible. Let's see if I can, I think I have enough range to do this. So what you do is you just kind of put your camera right above the lava, kind of roll through it first to make sure that your camera is set properly. Set it just in front of it, and then for me, I'm just going to pull back on my throttle really gently, and I'm actually doing this hands-free, so I'm just going to sit and wait for a moment as the camera does the magic. And so there's Arboria against the Milky Way, and the flames have overtaken us. I remember the first time that I found lava vents in Horizons. It was really cool. Like these things you had to like, I have videos on my channel of searching for actual old school geology, and it was a lot of work. So I think I'm gonna go in, and we're gonna, I'm almost done, but I think before we close out, I'm gonna hop in the ship here. Hello, Arboria. I'm going to hop in the ship, and I'm going to jump in my SRV, and we're going to go for a drive. I don't know what the terrain looks like over the ridge, but we're going to go over, and we're going to check out what's over the hill and see what we can film. You'll notice I turned my lights off. It's just kind of standard, like I said before. It doesn't only affect atmospheric worlds, it affects these types of worlds as well. So I want no part of it. So I'm just gonna go through and let the natural lighting, what little there is on this planet, take care of business. So. Yeah, this planet's got some serious mosaic effects on it. It doesn't help that YouTube's codec, YouTube's encoding will make this look even worse than it actually does, because it was filmed in HD and then it gets messed with from YouTube's appearances as well. Oh, this looks rough, but here we go. All right. That's just a vent. Okay, so there's a little bit of flat terrain out here, which is not too bad. And with the hills on the side, we may get a couple of SRV shots. So let's head out. Oh, I think I hit... Yeah. I hit the handbrake on accident. Alright, and now I hit my stabilizer. And we are good to go. So kind of roll through here, and I don't think it'll make much of a difference to keep the lights on here. And this is the other way, so you can see it's kind of tilted to the left, And as we pan around, ooh, I got to decide on my zoom here. Probably not too happy with this one. Whoa, there we go. So take control for a moment. Trying to avoid the rocks. It seems like the rocks spawn purposely in front of me as I'm driving. There we go. Okay. We got some hills and little mountains in the background, so it makes the shot a little bit interesting. So this magnificent desolation shot. So now throttle forward to bring us in, which is not a shot I do very often, but trying to do some, some different things over time. And yeah, we're gonna have to like realign ourselves here. Here we go. I'm afraid I'm gonna hit the ground, or ground's gonna come up behind me and I'm not gonna see it. Yeah, not looking too bad there. Oh wow, I didn't notice the planet in the background. That's a nice surprise. I think I'm gonna hit the ground. Yep. That is cool. I can't seem to get a shot, and I think we're climbing a hill, so. Okay. Oh, and we hit the ground. The camera stopped, but the vehicle continues to move on. So we're going to go around here, and I'm going to make one final shot because I actually want to get a shot of my commander standing on the ground with that that planet in the distance. I didn't realize the gas giant was aligned the way it was. If I can stop sliding around. I don't know how Alec Turner does this. Like, all these people to drive these things and not spin around all the time. I mean, some kind of voodoo. There we go. Yeah, with some nice little, like, pseudo hills, pseudo mountains in the background there. So we're going to disembark. Uh-oh. Come on. Come on. Okay. Whew. Thought we locked up there for a moment. It has happened. Okay. So I'll fix my alignment. Here we go. Beautiful. Love it. Absolutely love it. It's one of those welcome surprises that wasn't really anticipating that type of shot, but here we go. So again, and at this point for this shot, everything interesting is in the center. The commander, SRV, and the planet, and my friends. That is going to be all for today's behind the scenes of Elite Dangerous out there. I hope that you've enjoyed this kind of little foray into how things are done for the longest running Elite Dangerous exploration series, and I hope that you will continue to watch, and I will see you guys next time for whatever comes next, whatever Let's Play or whatever I happen to do. So thanks for hanging out with me. I'm Commander Exorcist. Take care, fly safe, and I will see you out there.